Whoa. I turned the camera on and apparently I smacked it and made it all crazy like. It's not your eyes that are off. It's me, my motor skills. So, today's going to be a little bit of a different video. Normally it's motorcycle stuff. We got a lot of gun and shooting content, knife reviews, things like that. Usually falls into one of those three categories. Of course, there's the Saturday Morning Coffee with Dave podcast that nobody watches. That's all right. Today's a little different. We'll talk about cell phones and stuff. So it's something that actually I'm very interested in, always have been, but I don't do a lot of content on it. I think just because it became less critical to me over time, as far as being all geeked out by it and stuff like that. So as people who, if you know me, you know I'm definitely an Android fanboy. But I've warmed up a little bit to Apple more over the years. And it's not because I never liked Apple or I didn't have Apple. I had the iPhone original one. I had the 3, the 3G. I think I had an iPhone 6S. I think I had an 11 Pro at one point or something. So I've had iPhones over the years. Had the Apple Watch, loved it. Had plenty of iPads, iPad Airs, had an iPad Pro 13-inch. So I've had a bunch of Apple products, definitely. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on these things. So it's not like I hate Apple. I hate some of their business practices. We'll talk about some of the pros and cons here. So I've had a Galaxy Note 20. I'd hold it up and show it to you, but that's what's being used to record the video. But I've had it for about a year, and I'm thinking of upgrading to something different. So I made a pros and cons list. Sometimes you make a column and start it, because there's two really compelling phone platforms for me this year. I'm going to kind of go through what are the pros and cons of me as more of an Apple fanboy or more of an Android fanboy than Apple, and why I may lean towards the iPhone this time around. So first, we'll just kind of go through the pros of the Pixel. I have no problem with Samsung phones. Samsung phones are great. But they're a little more limited on some of the customizations, and I do prefer the Google experience. I think the Google experience without the One UI, One UI has gotten amazingly better over the years from whatever they used to call it. I wanted to say Sense, but that was HTC's UI back in the day. Whatever happened to HTC? Anyway, having their overlay, Bixby blows. I don't like Bixby. I don't like some of the Samsung apps. I like the Google experience. Google's really good at providing a good user experience. It's very clean. It's elegant, and especially the new UI or whatever the new what was it called? Anyway, I forget what it is. But there's the new UI that they're coming out with. U Material or Material U, I think it is. It's elegant. Now, Apple's elegant too, but for me, iPhones have always been more limited. And it's a lot of little things, and you can say, oh, well, how big of a deal is it? It all adds up. Things like the user experience, like for widgets, for the longest time, Apple took 10 years to get on the widget bandwagon. And when they did, it was like we had to slide over and you could have a couple little bits of information over here on the side. And it's like, no, I want to set up my desktop like I set up my computer. It's a workspace. I want to set it up and I want to say, okay, if I'm at work, I've got a panel set up for work. I've got emails from work, from Outlook scrolling by. I've got my calendar for work. I've got things like that I don't have to go and say, what's going on in email? Let me click on that, launch it, look. Okay, let me close that. Let me go look at the calendar. Let me go look at this. I don't have to do those steps one at a time. I have a panel set up that has all my work information updating in real time, and I can see what's going on. Does anything require my attention? Anything I need to jump on? Oh shit, I've been playing around on YouTube and I'm 2 minutes late for a meeting. All that stuff happening in real time, much cleaner than Apple has ever done. And then I've got a panel for entertainment. So there's what's new on Netflix, my music player, this, that. I've got a news update, so I've got news feeds and things coming by. So each panel is set up for a purpose, and I set up my workspace for the way that I want to work, and it facilitates that rather than just being a massive slab of every of the 57 apps I have installed. And I can put them in a different order, but I can't put them all along one side. I can't do them, only put some icons on this page and some, everything was like, no, it has to fill up the icons. It has to go in this order. You can't put them around the edge. So if you have a picture of your dog as your wallpaper and you don't want a bunch of icons covering the face, and not that that matters as far as making phone calls and using, but to me, it was just, you want to use your phone the way you want to use it. Who are they to tell me? No, no, no. Steve Jobs has decided, and everyone and whoever came after him, Tim Cook, this is how you will use our product. If I'm paying $1,000 for a product, I want to set it up the way I want, not the way you think I want to set it up. That's been my biggest problem with Apple over the years, is the OS. Their hardware is phenomenal. The silicon, the quality, it's a great platform. I haven't been happy with some of the things like getting rid of the headphone and using Lightning port. There's no reason to use Lightning ports. USB-C is better, faster, and it's universal. That to me is irritating. The fact that they still don't use a USB-C port, that they want to use Lightning. And they're like, well, we can pay a kid in China 99 cents to make a cable and then sell it for $30. It's a major source of revenue to give you those stupid proprietary plugs. There's no practical reasons why they don't have USB-C. So those are the things about Apple. When I say like, I hate Apple, or I'm talking about some of their business practices. The fact that every year, and it's also some of their fans are just annoying. People camping out in the wintertime for 8 days, worrying about frostbite so they can be first in line to buy the phone that's 97% the same as the phone that they already own, because Apple their upgrades are really kind of minimal every year. Hey, this year we got a notch. Great. That's what we need. A big ugly notch making my screen smaller as far as what I can actually use. Anyway, rant aside, Apple's come a long way. I'm going to go through the pros and cons here. So with the Pixel, it's very flexible, customizable. I can change it to look the way I want. I can set up my panels really the way I want. Not, well, here's 2 options, pick one. I can really kind of customize it so that at a glance, for whatever tasks I'm doing at that moment, here's what's going on. It's more integrated really into the Google. All the services I use Google for everything. Drive, Google Docs, Google Maps is way better. Google Assistant, light years ahead of Siri. Siri is a moron. She's a slow learner. She rode the short bus. Google is, no personal assistant's perfect, but Google's way better. Simple things. So here's something practical. This happened to me. I'll give you an example last week. Being able to just plug in my Android phone to any computer except a Mac, and that's by design on Mac side, not a limitation of Android. But being able to plug it into the computer and having it just recognize it as a USB thumb drive. It opens up Explorer, or if I'm in a Linux laptop, it opens up Conqueror or whatever file, Nautilus, whatever. And I can just drag and drop files from the phone back and forth, not just pictures, but I can just create a folder on my phone it just looks at it like a thumb drive. And so if I got a bunch of work files that are like 50 megabytes and too big to email, and I want to go and upload them over Wi-Fi or over my wireless connection to the cloud to then download them back, I want to just drag it and drop a bunch of those files to the phone and unplug it and go. I can do that. I don't need to dick around with iTunes. I don't need to sync music. If I want to just drag a bunch of songs off of my computer, I've got a bunch of songs on my network. I put them in a folder called music. If here's all the ones I want on my phone, I drag and drop them to my phone. If someone else is like, oh, that's a cool song, let me get a copy of that. We plug it into your computer and drag it back, and now you get a copy. I mean, it's just so handy to not carry around a separate thumb drive. I can use the phone as one. Apple, no, mustn't do that. Having a file manager, an actual file manager that I can go in. Now, there's protected folders, although there are some that I can get that would give me that access. But basically, all of the area that is not system related, that's just considered like, for lack of a better word, the thumb drive, all my files, my music, my pictures, my videos, all that kind of stuff, Word documents, downloads, all that stuff is accessible just like you're on Windows, just like you're on a MacBook, just like you're on a Linux laptop. It's just a normal file manager. I can click on network and it goes boop and it sees my NAS drive down on my Windows network. And if I want to copy files from my phone and just say move them to the server, move them to the network drive, it just goes okay. And it just does it just like I can do here on my Windows PC. And that's how I actually have to do it, because when I plug in my Note 20 into my MacBook, maybe there's a setting I haven't figured out yet, but it will not just recognize it as a thumb drive. So if I take videos on the phone and then I want to, because I actually use my MacBook, I love my MacBook. We'll get to that in a minute. And I want to crunch some videos or something like that. I can't just copy them, plug it in, and drag and drop it like I can on a Windows or Linux machine. It doesn't recognize Android. It just won't let me connect it that way. So I have to push it to the server, and then on the MacBook on Wi-Fi, go down to the server, which of course every time I have to tell it, go find the server, and after a day or so it times out that network share, and I got to do it all over again. But in any case, I can go get it and pull it up. That's handy to me. We cover the universal USB-C. Come on, Apple, get with the program. So it's those kinds of things. The flagship. When you talk about camera quality, they're all roughly on par. If you're going to really get in and nitpick, you can say, well, Apple was better in this case, but then the Pixel was better over there. But those are the kinds of things, just the everyday flexibility, dealing with Google, being able to kind of do it my way, having a little more freedom. I don't care about rooting and ROMing anymore and stuff like that, what Apple fans will call jailbreaking. I used to, but at the time it was because there was a lot of limitations. And there's probably just a little bit of ego involved in being, look, I can change the clock to this and do that. And meanwhile, only another geek that's just as pedantic as you are about that stuff. It doesn't, make the phone better as far as making calls and stuff. But with launchers and things, you can do a lot of that stuff anyway without rooting and ROMing. So I'm looking at the Pixel, and the new Pixel 6 is just going to be using Google Silicon, which is, they designed with, with Samsung to create the Tensor chip. So that's getting close to Apple as far as the synergy between hardware and software and designing them in tandem to really optimize it. I'm expecting some serious stuff in the camera and the AI and just some really good stuff coming out of the new Pixel line. However, I watched the keynote for Apple yesterday and watched that whole presentation. And so the pros of the iPhone, let's give credit where credit's due because there are some pros there. Their hardware is top notch. It's as good as anything out there. Samsung is right up there. The Pixel line, maybe they're almost up there. But I mean, basically it's Samsung and Apple. Now, I don't know about Huawei and some of those other companies out of China because those are harder to get here in the States. But, it's right up there. Apple is, you're not going to find anyone better hardware than Apple. They have gotten better over the years with their widgets and customizations. It's still not anywhere near where Android was. It's where Android was in its infancy, but they have made some good progress there. It's significant, even if they've not caught up. Here's the biggest thing, the biggest two things. I have an M1 MacBook Air. Love it. Got it when it first came out, and I got the basic one, the 8 gig of RAM and the 256 gig storage. I got the bare bones $999 one. Kind of wishing I got more with more RAM. I'm going to hold on to this one until it comes out with the M1X chip and then step up and get one that's got, because I am doing all my video edit. I'm not doing it on I got a big ass gaming PC here with 42-inch monitors, 4K and stuff. That M1 runs circles around it when it comes to crunching video. It's amazing. And the battery life is sick. So I like it. And so I got the MacBook, the M1. I've also got Apple TV. Now, I didn't go out and purchase that. That came with my Spectrum gigabyte internet and TV service. They're like, you want a free Apple TV? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I already have 2 of those items from the Apple ecosystem. When it comes to wearables, I've got a Samsung Galaxy Active 2. It's a decent watch, and there's the new Active 4, which is even better. The problem with it is that, kind of like the tablets, there are good Android tablets. Samsung has some, but they have nailed the phone better than Apple has. Apple may have started it, Android finished it. There's a reason why Android has 8 out of 10 smartphones in the whole world. They have the better platform for phones. But when it comes to tablets and especially wearables, Apple blows them away. And so, if I had Chrome boxes, if I had a Chrome laptop and a Chrome TV and all that kind of stuff, I would be leaning towards the Pixel. But here's the thing. I love my laptop. I'm probably never going to go back to a Windows laptop unless I had to for some reason. There was some application that only ran on Windows and I'd have to, But I don't. I don't game on a laptop. I just need a laptop for basic laptop shit. And the MacBook's awesome. Apple TV works really well. Better than Roku and some of the others. And then you add in the wearables, the Samsung watches are good for what they are, but there's a lot of little simple things that they don't do as well. Now, I'm not one of these fitness fanatics. So, having every fitness thing, I don't care about that stuff. I want a watch, that tells time. I want to be able to make and take calls. I want a good digital assistant on my watch. I want to see my calendar. I want to be able to, if I'm swimming in the pool, I've got my phone linked to my sound bar and the sound system outside, and I want to be able to fast track to the next song while I'm swimming in the pool from my watch. When I log into something from work and the Microsoft Authenticator comes up, I'm having to reach for my phone and approve, scan my thumb, and approve the login from my laptop every time I VPN or something. Those types of things don't work. The first things do, but when it comes to like additional app support, like with Outlook, and it doesn't work as well on the Samsung Watch. Now, part of that's because I have Tizen. The new Galaxy Watch 4 actually uses the new Google Wear OS or whatever, but it's a hybrid version that still has all the Samsung crap. If you're really into Samsung stuff and you've got Samsung Home Assistant, whatever other crap they sell, then that's probably the way. I'm trying to get away from Samsung, and so I passed on the Google Watch. The Samsung Galaxy Watch 4. I just didn't want to be locked into that. It doesn't work at all with iOS. It doesn't work as well with other Android phones. And so when you look at non-Samsung Android phones, there's the TicWatch Pro 3, which is a decent phone, but the water rating sucks. Well, I got a saltwater, 8.5 foot deep, 25,000 gallon saltwater pool. So, yeah, it'll take a splash, but I don't know that I should go swimming at the bottom and be 2 meters underwater, but I think I'd ruin the watch. But other than that, it looks like a great watch. So there isn't a really good wearable. There's the new Fossil 6 series, which should be good, but they're not going to get the Google Wear 3 bump until sometime mid next year. It's just the state of wearables on Google is getting better, but Apple nailed it. So everything is a compromise from what I'm seeing between the Pixel. You look at the screen resolution, the high refresh rates, the new camera modes, things like that. There's a lot of parity between the Pixel 6 Pro and the iPhone 13 Pro. The iPhone 13 does have that cinematic mode, but I think Google will end up having the same kind of thing. Their AI is stronger than Apple's anyway, so they could do that kind of thing too. But when I look at my pros and cons list, which is why I'm looking over there, there's some day-to-day niceties that the Pixel or any Android phone absolutely provides. And I think if you were looking at ecosystem independent, not integration with other devices, for me, Android wins every time. When you throw in the fact that even an Apple fanboy like me, I keep saying Apple, even an Android fanboy like me, has a new MacBook, has an Apple TV, and is thinking about what kind of wearable I want, I feel like that skews it towards the iPhone for me. I like the iPhone 13. It looks great. The notch is smaller. I love how they sell that as an upgrade. It's got a smaller notch. Well, you shouldn't have a damn huge-ass notch anyway. That was an absolutely horrible design choice. And so saying, well, it's a new feature, smaller notch. That's like saying, well, this year we're going to give you less tuberculosis than we gave you last year. It's like, you shouldn't have the stupid notch anyway. Be like everybody else, put a little pinhole in the corner or an under-screen camera or whatever, sensor, and do that. But saying my screen's this big, but you're losing this much of the top because there's going to be a bar across the top, it takes away from it. It looks ugly. And when you're watching a video or something, you're missing a chunk out of it. Or you have to crop it, which makes the screen, the viewable area, smaller than what you're saying in your spec sheet. All that aside, I feel like there's more to be gained by the integration with the MacBook, Apple TV, and getting the wearables. I don't care about the fitness stuff. I want to be able to make and take calls, see schedules, do all that stuff, respond, voice assistant, all those basic things. But then there's some other things like I've got a Chevrolet Z71 my wife drives, and I've got the new Trail Boss. Those all have integrations into the app. So I could be anywhere in the world, and I can go on my phone and start it, check the tire pressure, oil life, schedule service, whatever, heat the car up, turn it off, sound the alarm, lock the doors, unlock the doors. If I lock my keys in the car or somewhere, my keys are in the house in the candy dish, and I'm outside and realize, I need something on the back seat. I've got my phone on me. I can go boop and unlock the car. I can't do that from the Samsung or any of the Galaxy watches or any of the Android watches that I've seen. But it is support on the Apple Watch where I could pull up my Chevrolet and go boop, unlock my doors, boop, start the car and let it warm up in the wintertime before I go out without pulling out my keys or my phone. That's cool. When I log into my VPN at work, the Microsoft Authenticator app will pop up on the Apple Watch and say, is this you logging in right now? Yes. Boom, my laptop logs in. As opposed to having to pull up my phone, unlock it, and do that, which is what I have to do now. So the wearables and those other things, I feel like it's pushing me more towards the iPhone. As far as power and speed, I don't care about CPU benchmarks. Everyone's like, oh, the iPhone's so fast. Does that make a difference when you're watching TikTok? You know, was the old phone not fast enough to run your game? I mean, touting CPU scores is great. That's what geeks like to do. It's like somebody touting horsepower numbers on their car or their bike. And to me, all it matters is, well, who won the freaking race? Like when you went down the road, who had the lower lap time? Well, I don't actually do that. Well, then your numbers are irrelevant. They don't mean anything unless they translate into a tangible result somewhere. Just saying, I got this score, I got this number, and you got benchmarking freaks out there liquid cooling with nitrogen in their computers to get a high score. Okay, try to run it long enough to play a game and it crashes and locks up. It's not usable. It doesn't mean anything. I kind of look at those benchmark scores, kind of over it. As long as it runs everything smooth and the experience is, everything I do is no lag and it's fast and smooth and it chugs along and processes my videos quick, whatever. The score is what it is. I'm looking at the result. What does it mean to me? And the iPhone is fast. I'll give it that. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. It's kind of a tough call because I feel like Android's sort of my team and I kind of want to stay with them. But I think because I am enjoying the other Apple products, you know, not that I care about iMessage so much, but I still have iMessage on my laptop. So sometimes people are texting me because I used to have an iPhone. It goes there to my laptop and I don't see it until I log. But every night, like if we're sitting on the couch, you know, catching up on TV shows or watching the news or something, I got my MacBook up constantly. Reading stuff on the internet, checking on my YouTube channel, doing this, doing that, shopping, whatever, you know, maybe even working and stuff. And I hear my phone go off. Someone texts me. Well, I got to pick up my phone and go over it. Well, it'd be nice to just have it pop up in a window right on my phone. And I know I can get apps for that to do it on a Windows machine or something like that, but I've already got the MacBook. So just having everything routed to the same thing. When a phone call comes in, do I want to fish it out of my pocket or it's over there on the coffee table, or I'm already on the MacBook anyway, just go click and answer and do FaceTime or do a phone conversation from there. I feel like there's more benefits. When I want to stream something, I have something on the phone. Oh, you know, I took a cool video. Let me show my wife or something. Here, just send it to the Apple TV and my TV turns on and whoop, there it is. As opposed to having to put it on YouTube first or do some other kind of thing. I mean, Roku has a kind of sharing thing, but you got to set it up. Those types of things really are just more seamless. So either way, I feel like I'm making some sort of concessions and compromise. I'm giving something up. I feel that in my certain situation now with those other products and wanting to get a new wearable, I feel like I'm giving up less and I'm gaining more if I go with the iPhone. So anyway, that's my decision-making process. I'm probably going to go with that. I haven't decided if I want to go with the 13 Pro or just the regular 13, because you can get that cinematic mode that they were talking about, which is really cool. Watching some of the videos of how it focuses on my face, but then if I turn to look at the thing I'm talking about, it senses that I'm turning away and it focuses on that, and then I'm kind of blurred out, and then when I turn back, it refocuses on me. Like, that's some cool stuff. And being that I have a YouTube channel and I'm doing reviews or working on the bike or doing things like that, that could be pretty cool. So anyway, what do you guys think? I know there'll be some people that are just going to say Apple sucks and someone else is going to say Android sucks. But it's like, based on what I'm saying here and kind of those pros and cons and, you know, and all that, I feel like I'm leaning towards the iPhone. So give me your thoughts. If you think I'm crazy, put them in the comments. We'll talk.